Hi, welcome to Where's Wilmington? I'm Lisa Capalla, and today I have the rare treat of talking with both a producer and a road race coordinator. With us today is Denise Gentile. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
She is the producer and gourmet extraordinaire for the Glitzy Gourmet program, which we do here on WCTV. And she's also here to talk about the Wilmington road race, right? So let's talk about the road race first, and then once we handle that in the second half, we'll talk a little bit about what you do here.
Great.
Okay, so the road race that Wilmington is having, can you tell us when it's going to be and how the whole process of having such a big event in Wilmington occurred?
Okay. It started 4 years ago when there was the 275th birthday in Wilmington. One of the celebrations that they decided to have was a road race. Tom Kazera was the founder of it.
Everybody knows Tom.
Everyone knows Tom, everyone loves Tom, and he's a great runner. So it was his idea, and the first year he did it all himself. He coordinated, he found the route, he did everything, and it was a very big success, and everybody was like, you've got to do it again. I was participating in the 275th celebration at that time through the bank that I work at, and I had made the float of the big, huge birthday cake that was the float in the parade. So my husband has always been interested in running. So the following week when we had the race going on, my husband and I went to it, and I was at different points checking different things, and in my mind was clicking like, you know, oh, they should have had this, or maybe they could have had that, and what have you. So then when I saw Tom, I was like, you know, if you do it again, I'll help. So the next year, of course, he remembered, and I said, no problem, I'll start helping you. So then the second year we ran it, and we did start charging, and we still got a lot of participants, and everyone was like, this is a great thing. So we decided to continue doing it. And then the second year when we did it, because we raised money, which we didn't even expect to raise beyond the cost of what it was for the race, we decided to give scholarships.
Excellent. So
we gave out, I think, 1 scholarship the first year, and then the second year we gave 2, and then last year we gave 3 $1,000 scholarships to high school students. And last year we also gave money to the 4th of July committee, the food pantry, and Camp 40 Acres.
Excellent. So
this year we're hoping for every $1,000 that we raise, we'd like to build a scholarship. So if we build up the 4,000, we'll do 4 scholarships, and then anything above that, we decide what to do with it. And this year we're going to give it to the community fund and the food pantry.
Excellent.
We like the money to stay in Wilmington. We want it to go back to the town. We want it to go back to the people. So everything we try to give back, we try to give back to help with the town.
So let me backtrack about all that wonderful information you just gave us. So initially this was a free road race
for
and
the
this
celebration.
was begun by Tom Pizzera as a birthday celebration for the town of Wilmington.
Exactly.
Okay. You came on board, you said, let's make this a little better, and the second year you began charging folks. Okay,
Right.
What is the entrance fee this year?
It's a pre-registration is $20 for the half marathon, and it's $15 for the 5K. That's another thing. Last year we expanded it, just the half marathon, to a 5K race, and everyone loved that. So then this year we had people asking, can we walk? So we're also including 5K walkers.
Wow.
So we're hoping for a really large crowd, because we're not really running 3 races, but we are coordinating 3 races, because we'll have the half marathoners, and that's a $20 registration fee, pre-registration, and $25 the day of the race.
Right.
And then it's $15 for the 5K, whether it's a walker or a runner. And we do give medals out in several categories for the half marathon and for the 5K runners. The walkers are just going to get like a little badge saying that they did a great job.
You walked.
You
Good
walked,
for you.
you did it, and that's, you know, an accomplishment in itself.
Excellent. When you take on a project like this, which, by the way, when is the road race going to be?
It's a week from Sunday, the 28th of September. It starts at 10 o'clock. For the last several years, we've always started in the driveway where RMA used to be, and they've moved out now. So now we're on the other side of Dinette World. If you face Dinette World, we used to be on the driveway to the left. We're now going to be on the driveway to the right. And it's called Waltham Street.
Which is where the new WCTV building is going to be, so you can check that out while you're there.
Yep.
And I'm sure folks will be able to see you.
We'll have
that
so
morning.
much stuff.
There's no way.
Yeah, we have men who help coordinate with parking. We have signs, and you know, we'll have like a little tent area where there'll be the registration, and then after, as the runners come in, we're going to have ice cream and hot dogs, and we have free, and it's all free. and we have free face painting for the kids. We're really, really trying to make it a fun day.
And it sounds like a family event, too.
It is, because we get, I mean, we've even had people sign up walking with strollers. There's a stroller striders subgroup, and we're even getting them to join. So there'll be children there, and we want to keep them busy. And, you know, it's fun to see the kids cheering, like when their dads come in.
Right.
You know, it's
This
just,
is like our little Boston Marathon right here in Wilmington.
Exactly.
Small scale, but similar.
You know, I learned years ago when my husband was a runner, and I wasn't. I'm like the most unathletic person God could have put on this earth. But
that makes two of us.
When I say to my friends that I'm running a race, they look at me like, "You're running a race." I'm like, "No, I'm not running
You're
a race.
organizing
I'm running the race."
Right.
You know, but when you go to a marathon, it's one of the only sports I feel that it's each individual person. It's a self-accomplishment. I've been at the Boston Marathon, and I've seen people helping other people cross the line.
Right.
There's a competitiveness, but it's not that mean competitiveness. It's a really, it brings tears to your eyes when you're there at the finish line and you see some of these people coming in. I see women that I know, and I see them, and I'm like, God bless them. They just ran 13 miles.
Amazing.
I mean, I can't even imagine.
I couldn't run 13 minutes.
13 minutes in the car, and I'm getting nutty, like, are we there
now,
yet?
You say you've been to the Boston Marathon. What did you learn from attending that marathon that you brought to the marathon in Wilmington that you tried to kind of incorporate? Well, it sounds like you had a big vision after that first time that you saw it.
Well, it wasn't so much, like Tom had it down pat. I mean, he found the course, he marks the course. There was just a few things that I kind of fine-tuned just because that's me, you know. And in raising the money, I had a lot more ideas on that, what to do with that. Like I developed the idea of, he had little signs out just saying what miles, and I says, well, why don't we get sponsors to sponsor the miles? So then I had really nice mile markers made, and then companies could sponsor a mile. Then we had the water stations, and I was like, well, why don't we get people to sponsor the water stations? So we did that. So for a little more, your name went on the water stations. And then we had different levels of sponsorships, and depending on your level, you end up on the shirt, you end up on our sponsor board. You get to put a flyer in the bag. Every runner gets a bag, and you get to put different informational things in the bags and everything. So, you know.
So it's marketing as well as giving back to the community.
I kind of came in more on that end of it than the actual race.
Well, being in banking, you would know a little bit about where to put the money and how to get more, I would imagine, so that would help.
Yeah.
What would you really like to see for the next, if you could do anything, if I said, okay, here's my magic wand, what would you really want, do you think?
I think people running,
more people
participating.
participating.
Yep.
Okay.
And a little more of, I'd like it to grow in the community. I would like people to think of it as a fall event in Wilmington and look forward to it. I find sometimes when I'm calling different places and I say, oh, I'm with the Wilmington Half Marathon, even after 4 years, it's like, who, what?
Right.
And that kind of makes me feel sad.
Well, that is why we have you here today, so that we can
Yep.
get the word out and make sure that everybody knows.
Exactly.
And hopefully maybe we can do a little more advertising too with,
Yep.
with the town crier and the advocate to get
Yep.
the word out
They've been
too.
wonderful. They, you know, the papers have been wonderful and everything. And Wilmington is made up of a lot of small businesses. And I know things are hard. And, you know, you hate to keep tapping into the same people.
Right.
But everyone has, like, people who have joined us 3 years ago when we started it, they're still with us. They're still very generous. And it means a lot. It really, really means a lot.
And let's face it, when you're in this community and you're shopping, where are you going to spend your dollars? I'm going to go with someone that gives back to my community.
Exactly.
If I have a choice. If it's a question of spending my dollar at one place that I know that you've given to the community, I may be more apt to go to your shop than I would be somebody else's.
Oh, definitely.
I think that's really important.
I have found myself mentally doing that without even realizing you do it, being a part of that. And, you know, like you say, it's like, oh, well, so-and-so, they gave, you know, they're really good. And
and then you hope to see them
first,
because you develop a relationship too. It's all about the relationships that you build. Another thing about sponsorship too that's very interesting to me is that you may not see a return on that investment immediately, but you will over time.
Exactly.
Not only from feeling good about doing it, but from people seeing, oh yeah, didn't they sponsor this and didn't they help with that?
Yeah,
you know?
that was another thing. Like I say, each year you learn. We learn through mistakes. We learn through other people making comments to help us improve. When we started the mile marker and the water stations being sponsored, we had put the names on the mile markers and on the water stations. And then it kind of dawned on me one day that these people are running by this. They're not reading. They're seeing
Right.
mile 2,
Right.
mile 5. They're not caring who
Right.
sponsored mile
Right.
2 and mile 5. So this year we're going to have large sponsor boards at the end of the race.
Excellent.
Listing everyone. We have had boards in the past, but not everybody was listed because depending on their level, they were maybe on the shirt but not on the board. So this
Right.
year we're going to have boards for everything. So you can see everyone that's given.
Excellent. How many runners do you usually have running the race? How many did you have last year?
It's really varied. I think the most that we've had over the years, I think we had like 128 for the half marathon.
Wow.
And last year being the first time with the 5K race, the running part of it, I think we had 57, which wasn't that much, but it was the first year.
Right.
So
Right.
this year, we have a really good feeling about this year. We've created a website, and you can go on the website and you can get the application.
Okay, let's tell the
And
folks
it's
what the website
Actually,
is.
it's wilmingtonhalfmarathon.tripod.com.
And we will put that up on the screen for
Right, and there's
everybody.
no www before it, just type that right in.
Okay.
And there is the registration form there. You can, print it right off and send it to us. But I've been keeping there's a little thing on the side to be able to tally how many have looked, and we
Yes.
have over 2,500 hits.
That's pretty good.
So we're really excited.
For Wilmington, for Little Wilmington?
Yeah,
that's,
we're
that's
really,
pretty good.
really excited. So,
Excellent. Where does the road race take us as we're traveling it? I know Tom
Yeah.
is the mapper,
yeah.
but it starts at Walking
It
Street,
actually
right?
actually, that's the beginning of everything. But the actual race, Tom had to not only figure out the race, but he had to figure out the trains because it crosses train tracks
Oh, wow.
in 2 spots.
Wow.
So it wasn't an easy course
Can
to
you
begin.
imagine? Boy,
Well,
it's a good
we
thing
say-
Tom's good at what he does. Boy,
We laugh because if you're a 12-minute runner, you're
that's
gone.
right. You can either grab onto the train or wait for it to pass. Wow.
Yeah, you don't realize.
And you don't
all
think of
that-
these things, I never thought of that
No.
because, with the other marathons you see, they've always got the police blocking everything off, but a
We
train
don't-
is a whole different
Right,
story.
and we don't really block off any streets.
Wow.
So we start on Shady Lane.
Okay.
And because of moving our finish line, poor Tom had to go out this year and move all the mile markers because now the finish line
Oh.
was like some little like 0.25 different than the old finish line. So he had to remark everything.
Wow.
But we start on Shady Lane and it goes up Shady Lane and then it kind of cuts through and you end up circling around and coming down Salem Street. And then when you come down Salem, you go into Middlesex Ave, and then I think you cut across to North Street. Nope, he changed it. You from Middlesex Ave, I think you go over to Concord Street,
Oh, okay.
and then you go to Park Street, and a little bit goes into North Reading. Then it comes back onto Concord Street, and then it goes down Woburn Street, and you go to 129, and then you come back up.
I'm tired already.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, in the car, after a few minutes, I'm like, are we there yet?
Actually, I could probably do it. You could probably do it. Too. We could do the walk with the stroller. We definitely could. Let's get that website information one more time
Okay,
for folks.
WilmingtonHalfMarathon.tripod.com.
All right. And this is going to be, what's the date and time? Is there a rain date? Or are we going to do it?
We haven't,
Okay.
when I saw that rain last Sunday, I was like, uh-oh, we didn't
You know what,
do a
though?
rain
Runners
day.
like a cool,
Yeah,
I think
if
a
it's
cool
a mist,
environment,
or if it's
not
a mist,
too
or
hot.
cloudy or anything like that. I mean, if it's torrential rain, we have everyone's information. We would
Okay.
probably have to get in
And
touch
are
with
there any
them.
requirements? Is there an age limitation or requirement, anything
We were
like
just
that?
talking about that because with the walk, we've had several mothers who have kids that are like 8 and 6, and you know what? If you're 6 years old and you can walk 3 miles, more power to you.
We'll give you a little badge when you
Yep.
get to the end, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so there's really
Exactly.
no restrictions as far as that.
Right.
And you don't have to be a Wilmington resident
No,
to run in it
no,
either.
not at all. Not
Okay.
at all. I'm amazed. We put it on the website of different running groups, and we're getting people from the Cape. We're getting people
Wow.
from Maine, Duxbury.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So, yeah, I've been really impressed with.
Excellent. And who is going to again benefit from this? The town
This
of
year
Wilmington is going to be getting what?
Well, this year we're hoping if we can do it, the 4 scholarships of $1,000 each,
Nice.
and then the community fund and the food pantry.
And the community fund, does that help with fireworks and things
No,
like that?
the 4th of July does the fireworks. So
Okay.
the community fund, from what I understand, it helps more with people in need, older people with fuel bills. people who have had crises that need some help from the community and different things like that.
Excellent.
And I think this year, with the economy the way it is, those were our good choices.
Right.
Because I think this winter, with fuel, older people, we're going to see a lot of people needing some help. So if we can help in that way, I think it'll be great.
Excellent. Anything else you'd like folks to know about the road race before we do our second half of the show?
Basically, if it's a great day, just come out, join us, even if you're not running or walking yourself. And if you are a runner or a walker, I'm sure 5K is awesome for you.
Excellent.
And you can sign up that day, and we're looking forward to
Great.
it.
I can't wait. I can't wait for it to get here.
I can't either. It's a really, you have to experience it to explain the feeling. Like I said, when you see some of those people come over the finish line, their own satisfaction is unbelievable.
Wow. Well, I want to see that, and I want to be part of that. And thank you for telling us about that.
Thank you
when
for
we come
having me.
back, we're going to have more with Denise. She's going to tell us what it's like to be a producer of a cooking show. Martha Stewart, she better watch out. You're on her tail. We'll be right back with more right after this. Stay tuned.
I'm Nicole, I'm 17, and I just had a baby. When I was pregnant, I felt like there was nowhere to turn. A nurse told me about Baby Safe Haven, a new law that helps people in my situation as a last resort. She said there were places that can accept a newborn baby. I took my baby to an emergency room. They really were a safe haven.
Go to babysafehaven.com or call 866-814-SAFE.
If you can't keep your baby, you can keep your baby safe.
Hello and welcome back for the second half of Where's Wilmington. Oh, you're not crazy. Denise Gentile is still with us. We were talking about the road race in the first half of our program, but now we're going to talk about what it's like to be an actual producer here at WCTV.
Well, it's great. It's awesome.
And her show, before we get too far into this, is called the Glitzy Gourmet. I'm sure everybody has seen it. Tom Pizzera is the one who shoots it for you, and you are the star of the show, so to speak, the hostess. So tell us about how long you've been doing the Glitzy Gourmet here.
It's actually been on Wilmington Cable a year.
Wow.
It started actually being shown last September, so it's been a full year.
Now, what made you decide
Well,
that you wanted to go from the banking industry to TV land? Because that's a big jump.
it is. Actually, I was homesick recuperating, and I was watching between Home and Garden and Food Channel.
Right.
That's all I watched. And every time I saw the different cooking shows, I kept on saying, I can do that. You know, and I love to cook. I've always loved to cook. I love to entertain. I love to decorate the house for entertaining. Food is a very big part of me. And even my husband was like, oh, you make that better, or you're right, you know, you could make that. And even when we go to restaurants, I like eat something, and then if I really like it, I go home and kind of recreate it to like, I don't even ask them how they make it. I try to figure it out myself and make it my own way or whatever.
A little detective kitchen work.
Yeah,
All right.
so I kept on saying, you know, I really would love to do that. And it was like, well, how? You know, you don't just walk into Hollywood and say, here I am. Doesn't anybody want me?
Not usually.
You know,
No.
so.
Although it seems that way, but no.
I kept on talking to everybody about it, different people about it, and working in the bank, people would come in and different ones would say like, oh, they're good with, you know, filming and what have you. And one of the young fellows who works with me at the bank had taken communication in school.
Right.
And he's like, well, I'll help you. So we started with him. And we did about 4 or 5 shows, and they never got anywhere. He was trying to edit them, and he was having problems. And it was kind of getting to be like a joke, because it was like anything could go wrong would go wrong.
Right.
You know, we did a show, and there was like no volume.
Oh.
You know, so it was like, great. They were teasing, because they said it was the first time they've ever seen me not talking, because the hands were going, and nothing was coming out. And
were you still called the Glitzy Gourmet at that point?
I did. That was started right from the beginning, but it never made it to TV.
So it was pretty unglitzy back then.
Yeah, we had like about 4 or 5 shows that never made it.
Okay.
And then one day...
so you know when you make it big, those are going to be on
the
eBay for
bloopers.
millions.
Oh, yeah.
Because
That's what my
it'll be
daughter-
the 5 unaired Glitzy Gourmet shows, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
We had one that he had filmed, and we went to watch it, and apparently he had taken a tape from home, and I'm in the middle of cooking. The next thing you know, he's got a new puppy doing circles in the kitchen, because he had taken the tape, put it in, didn't realize it was the Glitzy Gourmet one, and we're like, oh my goodness.
Oh,
you know?
But that was before you came to us.
Exactly.
All right. So then
Tom
you came
teamed
here,
up.
and it must have felt like the heavens opened up for you.
It was. Tom teamed up, and he's like, okay, we're going to get you going. And he did. And within a month of shooting with Tom and editing and everything, I was on TV. And I just,
Wow.
I said he was the man who made my dream come true, because it was like amazing. I watched the first show.
How was that for you?
It was really kind of funny, because I went to a friend's house and we all watched it together. And everybody
You watched your first show with other friends?
Yes.
This is a brave lady, because I still don't watch my show now. I try really hard not to.
Oh, and
I know you should, but I try not to.
Well, and I picked this girlfriend of mine who is very critical. And
Wow, you have a lot of chutzpah.
I know. I sat there, and when it was over, she was like, you shouldn't have had the dish towel on the stove. It looked cheesy. And
Okay.
you shouldn't have done this, and you shouldn't have done that. And I just went home like sinking. And I was like, well, it's the first show.
Right.
You know, it was the first show.
Right.
And
At least it was on TV this time.
Exactly.
That's something.
But then people were coming into the bank where I work, and everybody was like, I loved it. And I was like, well, what'd you think of the dish towel? Oh, it was homey. It was you, you know. And
Right.
what'd you think when I did this? No, that was fine. So I got a different perspective. It
Yeah.
made me feel a little better.
So you learned you can't really please everybody, and everybody's going to have something to say. I've learned
Exactly.
that too over
Yep.
doing however many
Just-
shows I've done.
It's me, you know. If my dish towel is hanging on my stove, that's how
Right.
my life is.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right. And, you know, OSHA or the health board's not going to come in and get you for that.
No.
So that's fine.
Yep.
But it's true. It's true. I think it's hard to watch yourself. You know, like for me, I'm very critical about how I look on TV. I don't like that. And, you know, some days I think I look like $1,000,000, then I see myself on the screen, I want to die, you know.
I can't believe how much weight it like puts
Oh,
on you.
yes, it made me gain at
Oh.
least 60 pounds, folks.
Yeah.
No, but I know what you're
no,
saying. It
I did-
definitely is true.
I had a woman come up to me in the bank, and she says, I saw this cooking show on TV the other night. She saes, and it looked just like you. And I kept on saying, it looks like the girl at the bank. And I said to her, no, it's me. And she goes, oh, no, she was fat. And
Oh.
she walked out, and I was standing there, and I was like, it was me.
Oh. And they never know your name either. They only
Yeah.
know the cooking show or
Yeah,
that
or
show on
Glitzy,
Wilmington. They
yeah.
never know that it's you or
Yeah,
me.
but
Yeah.
it was so funny the way she just said, like, no.
Now, before you go on the air, obviously you know what dishes you're going to cook, right?
Yep.
So you have an idea in your mind of what you're going to be preparing.
Yep.
Just for folks that are starting to do conceptualizing of their own shows, maybe someone watching who's thinking, you know, how do you do that? Do
It's
you
a lot
think
of-
of an open and close is what I'm getting
It's a
at?
lot
Because
of-
that's the hardest part for me. Once you're rolling, you're fine.
Right,
It's the
right.
beginning and the end that I feel is
Yeah.
the toughest. Would you say that
In the
too?
beginning, I did practice different openings, and sometimes I felt like I looked stiff, and sometimes I felt like it was like really planned. Then we
Right.
did try some others, you know. For the cooking part of it, the hardest part of it is the timing.
Right.
Things take a lot longer to cook. So I have to sometimes make 3 stages
Oh, right.
of everything.
Because when you see in the
I-
magic of Martha's show or
Exactly, it's
what's
all
that,
cooked.
Rachel Ray, they
Everything's
pull them
cooked.
out. But this one's already been made. Oh, yeah, I never thought of that.
So I always prepare a dish ahead of time that I have it all finished product. And then while I'm preparing things, I try to have some stuff. I mean, no one needs to see me cut a whole onion. I'm sure you know how to cut an onion. So you'll cut a good 7/8 of the
Right,
onion and just
right.
leave a little bit of the chopping, you know. You'll try to have a few things like measured out ahead
Right.
of time, because you don't want to have, I learned through doing it that I ended up having a million boxes of things on my counter.
Right.
And I was like, we don't need to see the whole box of baking soda, because I need 2 teaspoons of
Right,
this, you know. So I
right.
am learning to kind of put it all in the little dishes and have it all ready and kind of measured out and just
Mm-hmm.
let people know what measurements. So you learn, you know. I do have to think of the recipe. I want it to be something that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be something that people can make. A lot of my recipes, when I used to be a hairstylist, and I used to own beauty salons, and my first salon was in the city in the Italian section, and I got all the little old ladies' recipes. They're written on envelopes. They're written on a torn piece of paper.
Right.
And it would be like flour, egg, water, and on the side, how many people you having? And this was a recipe.
Right.
You know, so I had to kind of learn to put measurements. My daughter does my website for me, and she goes crazy when she's writing the recipe. She's like, Ma, you have to write it so everybody else understands it. Yes, you know what you're doing. You know what it's saying. And she doesn't cook much, so she's like, it's good, because she brings me down to a
Yes.
person's level that can't cook,
Right.
that wants to try
Which
it.
would also be me. No running, no cooking. Sorry.
Yeah.
What's the website for the Glitzy Gourmet?
Glitzy Gourmet is glitzygourmet.tripod.com.
Excellent. And what will we see when we dial that up?
Actually, there's a lot of good stuff. My daughter created the website for me. And
What's
I
your
have to
daughter's
say,
name?
Tiffany.
Tiffany.
And
Okay.
she did an awesome job. I really am proud of what she did. There's a home page, and then she did a little story about me. Then you can get any of my recipes that I've seen
Right.
on TV.
Good.
And she also created, she's very creative, and she does have a line of jewelry, but she started a line called Glitzy's Gadgets.
Oh, cute.
And it's all beaded silverware and serving pieces. So you can actually click on that and see the different things.
So not only
So-
can you make the recipe, you can also get the implements that go with it to
Yes.
make it look nice. That's
Yes.
lovely.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any requests from anybody to make certain things?
Not too much as far as that. I
You
have
will after this.
I have had people try my recipes and love it.
Right.
And they'll be like, it's simple, you explained it. Things like that make me feel good.
Right.
You know, I do want food out there that people are going to try and enjoy.
Right. And is it a certain kind of an ethnicity? Are
think
you staying in the Italian?
I do. I don't know. Everything ends up being Italian somehow. I mean, I can even start out making, you know, an
Because I'm
all-American.
guessing that you're Italian, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. They tease because it's like, no matter what I try, start out making, it ends up Italian.
Okay.
My daughter tells a story. I used to make her grilled cheese sandwiches when
Right.
she was little, and I used Italian bread, provolone cheese, and pepperoni. And she's in first grade. She went to another family's house for lunch, and the mother says, we'll have grilled cheeses. And my daughter's like, that's great. And the woman gave her American bread with yellow cheese.
Right.
And I just looked at it, and she came home, and she goes, I don't know what she thought that was.
Where's the pepperoni and the Italian bread?
She
What's
says,
up with that?
I ate it, but I didn't know what it was.
Wow. So now that you've done all of these shows, you're going to try to make it a little bit broader. And I want to talk about that a little bit because I'd like folks to see that WCTV is a wonderful resource, but it can take you beyond here too. So I'd like
Right.
folks to get an idea about that.
Well, with WCTV on Comcast, we're just in Wilmington. But with the Verizon, it goes to other towns.
Right.
And that's been awesome. And I have heard from people from other towns. They've, you know, oh, I get the Wilmington one and you were on it, and that makes you
Right.
feel really good. And I also brought it to Andover, the cable television.
Right.
And
Because as you may or may not know, folks may not know this, that's your property. The show that you tape belongs to
Exactly,
you.
it does.
So any work that you do here belongs to you. You can bring it to other communities and get your message really wherever you want.
Exactly.
I mean, that's amazing.
It is, because at first...
That's like being
what-
syndicated through ABC, but not.
Right. Well, that's what I had found out was like when I first started, like if I deal with you, do you own it? Do I own
Right.
it? What happens with
Right,
it? You know?
right.
And they were like, no, it's all yours, and we'll even make you copies. And I was like, oh my
Yes.
goodness, this
Yes.
is awesome. So I did bring it to Andover Cable, and they just started in May. And one of the women over there, she's like, you know, we really like your show. She says, where else have you brought it? And I says, well, not too many places. And she's
Right.
like, you should. So between WCTV knowing a lot of different towns and then her knowing a lot of different towns, I'm hoping by the end of the year to expand.
Excellent. Now, what are you going to do with all this expansion? What's your goal, really? Do you want to be on the Food Network someday?
You know, I don't know if I'd want to be on the Food Network.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that might be a little bit beyond
Well,
my reach.
it might sound a little scary right now, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would love it if like a local television.
You could
know,
be
like
the
if-
Fox News gourmet
Yeah,
lady.
like Fox or that CN8 or even
Yeah.
Channel 2. I tease that, you know, like it's not too late to have another career.
Oh, it's absolutely not too late.
know, I
and
mean,
you're just
Julia
like me.
Childs
You
started
said you
in
did
her-
the beauty school.
Yep.
You've done banking. Now you're doing television. I mean, the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, using your resources. That's why we do these shows, so that folks in the community realize that they can do so much.
You can.
You really can.
Yep. I always used to tell my daughter when she was little, the only things in life you can't do are the things you say you can't do.
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
if you just put your mind to it and give it your all,
Right.
give it a shot.
So what challenges are you going to be facing with the show moving ahead into the future? What have
The
you
ideas.
set up for yourself?
The ideas of what to cook,
Yeah.
you know, the different things, expanding in that way.
Right.
Right now, WCTV carries the newest recipes.
Right.
And Andover is like about 4 recipes behind them. And
Right.
if I pass that on, at least I have the shows that have already been made. So it's just a continuation,
Right.
you know.
What about doing some cooking for people with special dietary considerations? That's a tough
That is
area to
actually,
get into.
well,
but-
I'm a diabetic myself.
Oh, well, good.
So I have all
I mean that in the kindest
No,
way.
I know, because like one of the desserts, I met a woman and she's like, I'm so glad you made that. I'm a diabetic. I can
Right.
eat that, you know.
Right.
So I don't like say it a lot when I'm on the program that this is like a diabetic version and everything. But I am thinking of doing more of that.
Or
so
just
people
maybe
know.
making it apparent to folks that there are substitutions you could use.
Exactly.
I'm using whole milk, but you could
Yep.
use soy or
Yep.
what have you. So
Yeah.
now when your husband knows that you're going to be doing the show, does he hang out because you have to make 3 versions of this meal? So you must be feeding an army by the time you're done.
I do. We feed everybody that comes, and if they can't stay, they end up taking home doggy
Yeah.
bags and what have you. In the beginning, my husband would hide upstairs,
Right.
and he'd be like, this is your thing, I don't, you know. And then we were short a cameraman one time, and it was
Right.
like, okay, you have to help. And he did, and Tom said he did a really good job. So now he's like, is everybody showing up? Do you need any
cute.
help? And
Cute.
one time we even stuck my daughter behind a camera because we were
Excellent.
short somebody.
And it's
so-
not that hard to do once you know it.
Yep.
It's pretty basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Anything
been-
else you'd like the folks to know before we close? This has been so fascinating.
thank you. I
We
am
talked about the
trying-
road race.
yep.
Now we're talking about the Glitzy Gourmet. So I just
I
think
am
this has been
trying to
great.
write a cookbook. I says it took me 3 years to get the show on TV, so
Right.
it'll probably take me
You
5
know
years to write a
you
cookbook.
know you're going to need to do that.
Yeah.
Because you know that as soon as more communities see this, they're going to want your recipes bound. And there's only so much you can print from the website, right?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly.
that
So
to me
that's
would be
been-
the next
yeah,
step.
that has been
Sorry,
my-
but yeah.
I'm trying to make it kind of like a story cookbook because every recipe I have has a story, whether how I got it or in serving it or whatever. So I don't want it to just be pages
Right.
and pictures.
Well, and let's face it, there's millions of books, maybe hundreds of books like
Yeah,
that out there.
exactly.
You want something a little bit different, like yourself, a little
thank you.
unusual. Well, thank you for being with us today,
Oh,
Denise
thank you
Gentile,
so much
Glitzy
for
Gourmet,
having
and
me.
the 4th annual?
Fourth
annual road race.
Wilmington half marathon. Happy birthday road race.
Excellent. Thanks for being with us today. Just reminding you that you've been watching Where's Wilmington. And remember, the next time somebody asks you, where's Wilmington, you say right here and right here on WCTV. I'm Lisa Capalla. We'll see you next time.